video is going to be a deeper dive into the sales analysis tab of Cellmax. So if I want to go into the sales analysis tab, and here I have all my submenus as usual, I will click on the icon and I'll get immediately into sales analysis. The default screen that this takes you to is usually the very top of whatever the submenus are. So for the sales analysis tab, that'll be the summary submenu. If you see, if I click on it right here, it's the exact same report. So by default, whenever you click on the main icon, you're going to get into the first submenu that you see. The submenus, as you know, are from our intro video, are located along the top. So the sales analysis tab will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 submenus. All of your reports, when you're in one of these tabs, will have some pretty basic information that always shows up. Firstly, if you ever need to get back to the Cellmax screen, in the upper left-hand corner, you can click on the Cellmax button over here. Secondly, it'll tell you that you're the right person. So if I'd logged in and seen someone else's name, I'd know that I'd accidentally gotten into one of their things. I can log off immediately by clicking here, or I can quickly go back to my OneVoice. The date and time frame will always be shown here. And right now in this summary tab, I'm looking at the week ending July 31st, 2010. It'll also give you the Frito-Lay period and week number. If I need to go to a higher level, you'll notice that there's this red arrow. So right now I'm looking at a zone level. If I wanted to go up to a higher level, the region level, I could click on that and it would take me there. And then it'll tell me what my report is. So if I'm on the summary tab, it'll say, hey, you're in a sales analysis icon. I'm looking at a summary report, which is the sub-tab. It'll tell me for where it is, Northern California, and then there'll be a slash beside every type of thing that I'm in. So if I was in a district level, it would say Northern California, South Bay Zone, whatever district. If I wanted to deep dive further and further into the summary of that, it would keep going along here. So that's kind of how the report is formatted. As you can see, this is just basically telling me what's going on by whatever my measure is, be it sales, gross sales, net sales, promo sales, whatever my prior period is, what the weeks are, period to date and year to date, so I can get a quick look at what's going on. Not a super interesting report, which is why I'm going to go into my detail tab, and we're going to look at something a little bit more interesting here. So this is the next sub-menu of what you're going on. Again, you can see it gives me a selection for the different zones that are in here. For business unit now, I can now look at things by an individual business unit, and that's every business unit that we have. The report, again, is laid out saying, hey, my main icon, sales analysis, what type of submenu, detail report, and then where I'm looking for. And then it lets me select my time frame. It tells me what time frame I'm looking in right now, period 8/3 or July 31st, 2010. But it also lets me reselect if I want to look at current week or prior period, current period, or year to date. Usually as a default, people will set this kind of thing on current week, which is the last week that's kind of fully loaded in the system. To kind of look at things because people use an active tool. But if you're doing a year-end review or something, it's useful to look at the by-year data or the 12-week time frame, especially when you're looking in product distribution. But we'll get to that later. In the individual report now, you can see a couple of things in terms of how to do things. The first thing is what your different measures are. And you'll notice that there's a bunch of information in blue. So why is it blue? That means there's a link that you can do something with it. So if I wanted to click, or effectively means that I can click on that link. So if I click on the name link right now, you'll notice that the report changes its format. What it effectively did was it sorted by first letter alphabetically in ascending order, or to top to bottom. So if I click it again, it'll sort it in descending order. So before, you'll notice that Victoria Lau Tony Abdo was on there. When I clicked it, it then reformatted it to go from the highest letter to the lowest letter. I can do this all day long an infinite number of times. The report doesn't care, to make it easy for me to look at. Every one of these icons along the top, you can do that with. So if I wanted to sort by dollars, I can quickly click on that right there, and it'll sort it by dollars in descending order. If I click on it again, it'll sort it in dollars in ascending order. If I wanted to look at percent to prior, we could do it right there. If I wanted to look at account sales by dollars, account sales, ascending, descending order here, I can do that with all of these types of measures. So that'll do that with those things. The other thing that I can use this tab for is to go down and deep dive into an individual unit. So within the report, see how these things are on the top of the report that allow me to sort? Within the report, there's also a blue link that might let me do a deeper dive. So if I wanted to deeper dive into Tony Abdo's business, I would click on District 517 right here, and this would take me to a new report that's now all within that district. So here you can see that his district is made up of all of these routes, and the same measures are there in the detail report for him. It'll tell me what district I'm looking at in within all business units and what my time frame is. If I wanted to further, so now if I'm Tony, I want to sort by dollars, see how everyone's doing, see what my biggest piece of business is, which looks like it's Jason Liano, and he's also growing 116 to prior. However, Victor Salonga is only 70 to prior, so I might want to deep dive down into him. I would then deep dive by, again, clicking into Victor's route, and I will see all the stores that are within his route. So here we are. This is every store that he runs, where it is. It gives me my store number, my address, my city, what my 12-week average is, and what my percent to prior is. I might want to, again, sort by percent to prior year. And here I can see that I have several stores that I'm not getting very many dollars out. So I've just highlighted a series of stores that we're not doing that great over in terms of our dollar value. I could also sort by that, by my 12-week average, whatever I want. So these are the kind of my big opportunities that I may have in this guy's district where Tony might want to refine his efforts. I can then, if I go in, since the store is the lowest unit that we can really go into, if I click on the store, the report is going to change dramatically. You'll notice that it now goes into a category summary, which is effectively now going from a detail report to a business unit review report. So it moves over at the lowest level from detail all the way over to business unit review. So in a given store, you can get a business unit review, and that's this submenu on the top. If I wanted to go back up, and you'll see now that it'll tell me exactly where I am. I'm in sales analysis. I'm looking at a business unit review, which is the same as this submenu. I'm looking at it for performance shell, store number, whatever. That's the CSID number. It'll give me the address and then where I am, what the route is, and then the 12-week average of what it is and for my time frame. So that's the big difference. So in summary, if I go to my detail report, it'll give me, for whoever I want it to be, I'll go all the way back to Northern California. I want to show a report. And here we are. I'm in where my zone shows. I want to get in and I want to look at an individual district. District takes me down to individual route. If I go into route, it takes me down into individual store. If I then click over to store, it'll take me to a business unit review. We'll get a little bit more into the business unit review in a moment. If I click the up arrow right here, it'll take me back to where I was before. So before I was looking at, I was in a store report. Now I'm into, what was I going to say, a district report. So now I'm going to get up and I'm looking at a South Bay. I'm in a store count of 2014, and that's all the stores that are within that store report. Again, here it's taking me over to a store report. So you got to be careful with that little arrow. It'll take you into different reports if you're not careful. Whenever I want to get back, though, I just can click my detail, and it'll tell me the detail of where I want to be. So there we are. The geographic benchmark tab, if we go into here, is a way to look at a geography as a whole and then take a look at where it is. It's a listing of whatever the submenu that you're on. Here I'm in districts, and it kind of tells me what it is for that geography, and then all of the routes underneath it. And then depending on where you're in, it could even show you the store that's underneath that. If I wanted to look at a trending report, this will show me how my districts are trending in any one year. So it'll start off at period 1, which I can sort by that because it's a blue tab as usual, and then it'll show me a district. I can click into it. I can look at the different sales sales at cost, promo allowance, whatever it is that I want to look at to find out how I'm trending. What we can really look for here is how we're doing in terms of performance to plan. So as you can see, we have some trends that are getting worse in some zones, some districts, and others that are getting better and that are a little bit spotty. If I wanted to deep dive, I could go into that district. And here now I have a trending report for that district and how they're trending by period for each individual RSR. If I wanted to get out of that, I could go back up and click back to, and now I'm in the South Bay. And I could actually go up and click into the region and see how the region's trending for its performance by area. So I'm going to go back into what was I going to say? I'm going to go back into Northern California. for my measure, and there we are. I'm going to go back into detail, and this will give me a breakdown of all the different areas because I selected Northern California. If I go into South Bay, now I've got my South Bay detail. I could look at my channel report. In terms of my channel, here are all the channels that I have. I can sort it as usual for whatever business unit that I want, for whatever time period that I want. If I wanted to do a deeper dive, I could click into the drugstore item, and then this is going to give me a look by district, a channel detail report for drugstores. There it is. If I wanted to get out of my channel detail, this will take me to a higher level by region for what it is. I'm going to go back to my zone and see what's going on there. Always I'm going to bring myself back to a detail report because that's the easiest to navigate out of for any given detail. A business unit review, if I want to look at it by zone and see how things are going, here it'll give me my product level by category summary, the bigger categories that we have. Then it'll give me by BDC, convenience foods, core salty items, core indulgence, and it'll tell me how my sales are doing at cost, what percent of my mix this is, what sales I'm doing. Very useful report to look at it real quick. For store, if I need to look at by store how I'm doing, I would click on that in a detail report, and again, it'll give me a store report. Northern California, South Bay, and give me my store count. This is every store that I have, and there's 14 of them. And this is how we're doing all the way down for anything. Again, I usually like to sort it by what my biggest opportunities are. So I sort it by dollar and see kind of what I'm doing if I'm looking at that. You can also look at quickly a chain report, which will show you what you're doing in terms of your top 100 chains, and quickly sorting it by dollars will show up and let you know who your biggest chains are. For me, I got two, Safeway and Lucky. They're my biggest kind of dollar opportunities. 7-Eleven's quickly after them. It'll tell you what the store count is and then how you're doing the sales, unit sales rolled, again, the time frame, and then what type of channel that you're looking at. This is, for me, all channels right now, but I could make it into any individual channel that I wanted. If I wanted to deep dive, I could get into that individual store and look at a store report for just that, that store in this chain. In this case, it's Safeway. If I were to click up a level, this would then take me to Safeway, all the Safeways in Northern California, not just my zone. So I'll get back to my detail report in order to find out where I am. Oh, here I'm in the region level. I want to click back down into the zone level. For if you're a district, you'd click into the district. I would then look at my sales versus plan tab. This tells me how I'm performing as a district, looking into anything. So this will tell me if what my store count is, and I'm still unfortunately in the Safeway Northern California sales measures. So what I want to do is I want to get out of that. I'm going to go into my selections, which I click over here, and this is going to allow me to select what I want to look at. So here it is. It tells me that I'm looking at a chain level. I want none selected over here. So now if I go back to my detail report, or I show my report for that, it's going to ask me for a geo chain combo, but I want to go to a detail report, and it's not letting me do that. So I'm going to click on a chain. I'm going to say show report. That didn't want me to do that. I'm going to show report for geography. Nothing's letting me do that. So how about I just go to my summary tab, see where I am. Nothing's letting me do that. Well, that sometimes happens in Cellmax. I get confused as to where I am. So I'm just going to go back over to home. I'm going to get back in, quickly click over to my detail tab. Okay, here I am. I'm in my South Bay, and I want to look over at my sales versus plan, which is where we were, and that's what we were looking at. I'm going to click over sales versus plan geo. Again, this looks at my geography and shows me my districts and my routes as to their performance by plan. And then we're going to get to a really useful report, the performance snapshot. Now, this tells me what my sales, my unsaleables, and my service tabs is. So this kind of looks and lets me see a big quick snapshot of where I am for my current geography that I've selected. So I'm at the zone level, but if I was in a district level, I could quickly check and find out where my performance to plan for any of these guys are. Lastly, I got my performance snapshot store exception. These are people that are not executing for something. So it'll give it to me by stores in this district, all lumped together. Hey, this is great. I can see if my service has been executed, what my unsaleables are for my stores, and then what my better, worse than plan is. So that is a quick look at the sales tab of Cellmax.